going to be an expert in anything that we talk about. It's just you're going to have more knowledge about it. If anybody has any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to raise your hand and we'll answer the questions. But I do have, at the very end of it, there's a spot for people to ask questions if you want to hold off, or you can ask it whenever. We're going to go over emergency preparedness, the campus assessment response evaluation, the CARE team. Shooting timeline video, it's a pretty good video. It goes over a shooting timeline video from, I want to say it was 2000 and, could be wrong, but I want to say 2012, 2013. We're going to go over some gunshots. So a lot of people have never held a gun yet, heard of gun before. So we're going to go over different types of gunshots that if there was an active shooter on campus, you might hear. Run, hide, and fight, which is the motto of, well, not the motto, it's kind of the three things that you can do during an active shooter. You can either run, hide, or fight. So we'll go into depth to do that. And then shopping at home safety. So college police, this is who we are. The primary purpose of the college police department is to protect students, faculty, and staff. So our number one goal is for everybody's safety. So we want everybody to come hang out with us, but at the same time, feel safe and not afraid of anything that's going to happen. Maricosta College police officers are fully certified armed peace officers who have the authority to enforce state and federal laws with state authority. So everybody calls us campus security and that we can't do anything off campus or anything like that. Well, that little bullet point right there basically says that they're lying to you. So if you see us off campus and you feel like running the stop sign, don't be surprised if we pull you over. The college's emergency preparedness function is coordinated by the college police department. So that big shed in the back of our department that kind of just sits in the back of our parking lot, that's full of supplies and stuff like that if we ever have to activate our emergency preparedness team. It has vests, sleeping bags, food to last us a couple weeks. They're MREs, but so it's not going to be good food, but we have food. Police phone number. So everybody knows our main number, which is right here up on the board. 760, it's also up on the PowerPoint. 760-795-6640. That's our main college police number that goes to our front desk. Of course, if you're in your office or you see any of those yellow boxes around, those go straight to our police dispatcher. Those are for 911s. They have the little red dot on them. Remodeled classrooms, luckily we're in one. They have automatic locked doors. So say we were to go on a lockdown, I were to leave you. After I leave, you flip this little box right here, you press where it says emergency lock, it locks every door. So you don't have to go outside and fob it or lock it or anything like that. Hit that button, sorry, it's in the D corner. You hit that button, it locks every door until somebody with a key or the proper authority will come and unlock the door. So that's a nice little feature that they're putting on a whole bunch of our classrooms.
So you can't get in or out?
No, you can get out because these are pushed, so you can still push to get out, but they can't. Someone can't get in without a key or a fob or anything like that. So here's talking about the red button on your phones. Here's a perfect example right here. Everybody has these phones in their desks or in our office. Doesn't really matter where you're at. These phones are up there. If you do not have the red dot, you can call and get the red dot put on. It's kind of just like a little sticky, but no matter what, your phone should say campus emergency at the bottom. You hit that button, no matter what it calls, you don't have to pick up the phone or anything. It goes to the speaker and it calls us. If you accidentally call, stay on the line because the dispatcher is going to answer. And if you hang up and then don't answer when they call back, they're going to send one of us and we're going to think something's wrong. So always stay on the line even if it's accident. I know people clean their desk because, you know, spring cleaning. You want to clean your desk. Hit the button. Just say, hey, sorry, I hit the button. You don't need to send an officer. These are our fancy yellow call boxes throughout the campus, and we also have, I want to say about 5 in the parking lots. They're posted with those big red signs next to them, so then people know where they're at. Because you would not, before we had those signs, people would hit the button, and we'd say, hey, where are you? We'd be like, I'm at a building. Well, that doesn't really help us. So now we put up these big signs, so we say, look at the big red sign, tell us what numbers you see on it, and then we start sending an officer that way. Any questions so far? No? Okay. Emergency communication, outdoor speakers are installed. So basically, if you go around every building, you kind of see these big speaker-like things on the side of them. I know for one you could see is just to the right of the 3700 building. That's for if we ever send out what's called our regroup or our broadcast system. So everyone remember the shakeout? So when the shakeout happened, everybody heard it outside and inside. That's through our regroup, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. It's a system to where we can send out messages throughout the entire college or colleges. So let's say the power goes out on Oceanside and CLC, but San Alejo's still functional. We can send a message to CLC and Oceanside saying we're out of power and leave San Alejo out of it because they're running just as normal. So we can pick and choose where we want to send it. If it's just the 4800 building, say a pipe bursts and everything like that, we just need to send it to the 4800 building, we can send it just to the 4800 building. It's pretty cool. Our emergency preparedness team. This is actually compiled up of a lot of staff members, faculty, administrators. Basically, if anything happens on campus, we activate what's called our emergency preparedness team of all the important officials to basically come together and decide what the action is going to be. Of course, in an active shooter incident, it'll be after the fact, because when an active shooter happens, we technically just take over and just go do what we have to do. Was everybody here for the power outage?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Probably weren't. Well, of course, the most recent one's the fires. So when those fires happened and the smoke was coming towards our campus, they activated the emergency preparedness team. Basically, whoever was here and could attend went. So they went to our office and they sat down in the back and they basically start running through every scenario situation. What if it comes straight for the campus? What are we going to do? What if they activate our emergency preparedness? Because we're an evacuation point as well. So if they were actually thinking about opening us up during the fires, so if we would have done that, they would have opened up our shed, we would have set out all these tents, cots, everything like that, opened up the gym for everybody to go into, and basically we're going to be taking everybody who's been evacuated to come here and sleep. Okay, so it has 120 AmeriCoast administrators, faculty, staff that have all gone through FEMA or Homeland Security training. It's called, the main training is the ICS training, Incident Command Systems. I think I've gone through 7, so I'm not the only one. I'm like the last one that's went through it. So there's a lot of people before me that have gone through 7 and or more. I want to say Joe Mazza has probably been through about 10 or 15. So don't quote me on that though. Okay, this is the BIT team, the Behavior Intervention Team. So has everybody submitted a Maxine before? Does everybody know what a Maxine is? Okay, Maxines go to the BIT team. The BIT team sits down and they basically meet on every Maxine that's submitted to discuss what should be done with that. So the main goal of the CARE, well they call it the CARE team, but it is the BIT team. So the main goal of the CARE is to identify problems before they escalate. So when you have those students that get into confrontations outside your office, everything like that, you submit your Maxine, they basically see what interaction do they have out throughout the campus. If they have, I want to say, there's been a couple times where we had a couple students that have had like 5 classes together. They just completely hate each other. Yeah, I know, right? And so it's like that's their only interaction is in class. And so their classroom interaction would go outside of class and just completely clash throughout the entire school. So basically they get what's called like a no contact order. So they can't talk to each other. So it's like in 2nd grade when you tell the 2 kids, hey, stop talking to each other and separate them. It's that exact same thing just for adults. Yes, it's true. Okay, this is the video I was talking about the mass shooting timeline. Now we're going to start going into active shooter. There's one more video that I want to disclose that we have in here that kind of can be a little gruesome. It's a reenactment video of the Columbine shooting. I don't know if everybody remembers that. It's in 2001. It's a high school shooting with two or three kids that went throughout the school and shot a whole bunch of kids. It's completely a reenactment. It's not real, but it looks real. That's not this video though.
Several people asked us today whether these shootings are happening more often, and we were a little surprised when our research department put together a timeline. The Colorado movie massacre killed 12 on July 20th, 2012. 2 weeks later, 6 died at a temple in Wisconsin. The next month, 6 dead in an office in Minneapolis. It was quiet for 2 months when Newtown, Connecticut happened, killing 27. 2 weeks after that, 2 firemen were killed by a sniper in New York State. 2 months later, 4 dead at a barber shop in New York. The next month, 4 dead at an apartment in Washington State. 5 weeks later, 5 killed in Santa Monica, California. The next month, 6 dead in Hialeah, Florida. 7 weeks later, 12 murdered at the Washington Navy Yard, and 6 weeks after that came LAX. That's 85 dead in 11 mass shootings in just over a year.
So that one is kind of because we're school, so everybody thinks active shooter. If anything's going to happen here, it's going to be an active shooter. That's everybody's mindset through it because of the number of kids that we have. The BIT team kind of takes that into consideration when they do evaluate some of the kids that get submitted with. Excuse me. But basically what we look at is that there was 85 people who died in 11 mass shootings in just a span of a year. So that's quite a bit. There's another slide in here that the number even increases after that. So the FBI now analyzed 160 active shooter incidents from 2000 through 2013 to look for common elements that might guide law enforcement officers in preventing the shootings or responding more effectively. So when they looked at the Sandy Hook shooter, they figured out that to him it was all a game. He thought he was living a video game. I know, it's pretty sick. So basically his thought process is that when he went in and he started shooting people, that he was getting points for every person he killed. He got a different amount for kids, adult women, adult males, everything like that. And so, but he thought that if the police captured him or killed him, he loses all of his points, game over. So that's why he took his own life. That's what they came to. So then when he took his own life, he kept all of his points after the fact. The study found an average of 6 incidents per year from 2000 through 2006. The number rose to 16 incidents annually in the past 7 years. So that one's pretty in-depth. The FBI study defined active shooters as a person or people actively engaging in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area. So are we a populated area?
Yes.
That we are. So, like I said, their main goal at the end of it all is to kill as many people as they can in a short amount of time because they know police are going to show up. So instead of going through their neighborhood, they're going to come to a place they know that's populated, malls, schools, any place, movie theaters, any place that's populated, because that's the large amount of number that they can get. This is the slide I was talking about. As of December 2nd, the San Bernardino shooting is America's 352nd mass shooting in 336 days of 2015. So in 2015, 336 days through the year, we had 352 mass shootings. So that's more than one day. Okay, profile of an active shooter. This is all stuff that I already touched on. An active shooter is an individual actively engaging. That is the main thing. He needs to be actively engaging those people to be an active shooter. A lot of times someone might come up, shoot one person, and leave. That's not an active shooter. That's just an act of violence with a gun. A person who's actively engaging, trying to harm more than one person at that time, that's an active shooter. Typically, the immediate deployment of law enforcement is required to stop the shooting and mitigate harm to victims. So the quicker we find out about it, the quicker you hit those red buttons to call us to let us know that there's an active shooter, the quicker we can come up and stop it, and the quicker we can come and help people who've been shot. Because active shooter situations are often over within 10 to 15 minutes or less before law enforcement arrives on scene, individuals must be prepared both mentally and physically to deal with an active shooter situation. So basically, that just means just because you see an active shooter and you call us doesn't mean we're going to be there like that and it's just going to be done. After you call us, you still have to protect yourself. So just because you call us doesn't mean the person's going to stop shooting, doesn't mean that you're safe all of a sudden. You still have to think about saving yourself and protecting yourself before it ends. Be prepared. Quickly determine the most reasonable way to protect your own life. Remember that students are likely to follow the lead of their instructor and employees, the lead of their supervisors during an active shooter situation. Basically, everybody looks to somebody who's in charge. So if you're the lead of your department, don't be surprised that the people in your offices look to you, say, hey, what are we going to do? There's an active shooter. Don't be surprised about that, because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to freeze up during an active shooter, because when you freeze up, that's when things start to go downhill. Now we're going to go over some gunshots. We'll listen to it a couple times and then we'll talk about it if you want to. that is a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. That is not what we carry. Everybody sees our guns, they so it must be a 9mm. Ours are actually a 40 caliber.
Just like a Beretta?
That could be a Beretta. That is not a Beretta on the screen. But 9mm pistols come in anything from Glock to Beretta to SIG. Everything makes a 9mm because it's just a common bullet and a popular bullet. Any questions about the pistol?
How many bullets does it hold?
Ours hold 15, the average holds 10. So a lot of people say what's called 10+1 because you can put one in the chamber before you go, so therefore 11.
Jacob,
Yes.
now that has like a kickback, like when you shoot it.
It can. If you're not a trained person shooting these firearms, it's definitely not the easiest thing. But one thing you do have to look at too is we do have military, PTSD, but if any of this ever happens, it could be someone who has no training or someone who has a whole bunch of training. So that's a shotgun. The difference is mainly is the type of bullet it takes, but also the action it takes to shoot the gun. You can't just shoot it as many times as you want until you run out of bullets. You have to cock it and reload it every single time. The magazine tube on the shotgun holds 4. I haven't found one that holds more. That is anything like these shotguns that's California legal. Holds 4, 5 at most. Okay, this is the AR-15. The AR, everybody always misconstrues. AR does not stand for assault rifle. AR stands for Armalite. Armalite was the first maker of the AR-15, so that's why they put the AR in front of it. The rights were sold, I want to say, in 1959 to Colt, and they just decided to keep the AR. So AR-15, the AR does not stand for assault rifle. California legal ARs are semi-automatic, which means you need to pull the trigger every time for the bullet to go. Yes, AR-15s can be misconstrued as fireworks. A lot of people who hear assault rifle shoot, they say, oh, it sounded like fireworks.
Yeah.
It sounded like loud pops, loud fireworks. So every officer at Maricosta College has an AR-15 in their car. Mine's up here on the table for everybody to see. It's not loaded at this time, so don't freak out about it. Can't harm anything or anybody right now because there's no ammunition in it and nobody's holding it. Feel free after all this is done, if you want to come up, ask questions about it, see it, feel free. This is the video I was talking about, the reenactment of Columbine. Again, this is a reenactment, it's not real. This incident did happen, but this video is not from that incident.
Hi, Mama, what's your emergency?
Yeah, you did a shooting last week.
We're doing this on the night. Can you find the perpetrator? It doesn't matter.
No, not already.
Can you tell me where you are? How many people? Can you see the perpetrator? Can you see the guy with the gun? Are you inside or outside? Outside. Hello? 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 Can you pick up? Hello?
Hello?
Can you tell me where you are?
Hello?
Can you tell me where you are?
We're shooting in school.
Where is it?
Help me! Shut the fucking shooter! Shut the fucking God! Did you see her fall? I fallen, oh no! Ain't good, Dad. Really doesn't matter now. We're gonna die.
There's 2 people.
Fucking look at that.
There's 2 shooters, man.
We're fixing the incident. Yeah.
Hello? Can you pick up?
What's up, little buddy? How you doing, little buddy? No, hold up. I got a phone call here. Hold on. Any last words? Come on.
I'm Ray. Andre? Andre? Can you pick up? Hey, everybody! Hi. Several people in the room. Custom Hill Park, Washington, perpetrators following in line. Double shot fired. Rapid fire.
Shut up!
Shot fired. Shot fired. Can you hear me? Andre? Andre, can you pick up?
Sorry. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, go away.
Andre, can you pick up?
Good blood.
I believe on the number.
3, bang.
1, 2, 3, bang.
Not 1, 2, bang.
Andre?
1,
Andre,
2.
we can get you out of this. 1, 2, 3. Shot fired. Perpetrators may be down.
Okay, now we're gonna go into, or does anybody have any comments about the video? Now we're gonna go into run, hide, and fight, which is the 3 options or things that we say you should do during an active shooter. First thing we're gonna go over is run. 1, evacuate if there is an accessible escape path, attempt to evacuate the premises. So we're trying to say that if you're gonna run, don't run towards the shooter if that's your only exit. Try to go the path less traveled by the shooter, so go the opposite direction. So if they're at the center of campus, you wanna go that way. Have an escape route and plan in mind. So don't wait until something happens to have a plan in mind. Start planning it out probably now, even though you might not ever use it. You always want a plan in mind and work it out from wherever you're at. So then if it ever happens, you already have everything in order and you're ready to go. Evacuate regardless of whether others agree to follow. Leave your belongings behind. So basically, if your option that you want to do is to run and evacuate, you run and evacuate. If everybody else in your office wants to stay, you stay. We're not saying that you have to follow the group. You know, everybody wants to go hide in the closet. You don't have to do that. If you think running is the best thing, you run. Leave your belongings behind, your purses, backpacks, bags, rolling bags, everything like that, because it's just going to slow you down. You can always go back and get it after the fact. Help others escape if possible. So if you're running and people are trying to escape as well, but they don't know the area and they just want to get out, feel free to have them run with you or say, okay, I know the campus, follow me. Prevent individuals from entering an area where the active shooter may be. So again, if they're the center of campus and we start running that way and people are running towards the shooting, we want to yell to them, hey, don't go that way, the shooter's up there. Keep your hands visible. That is for law enforcement. So if you're running towards us in uniform with our rifles out, our pistols out, anything like that, you're running towards us, keep your hands up, visible, with your fingers spread, so that we know you're not armed and you're just trying to evacuate. Follow the instructions of any police officer. So if we tell you to drop anything in your hands, you drop it. If we tell you to get your hands up even higher, put your hands up higher. Whatever we tell you to do, just listen and comply with it. Call 911 when you are safe. So when you get off campus, say you run for 2 miles off campus, you knock on somebody's door, they allow you to use your phone, call your loved ones, feel free to do that, but call us and say, hey, I made it off campus, I'm okay. Because after everything, we have to go through and basically do a roll call. So everybody that's supposed to be on campus, we need to make sure they're accounted for. Hide. Hide out. If evacuation is not possible, find a place to hide where the active shooter is less likely to find you. So in this classroom, it's full of glass, so this isn't the best place to hide in. This is probably the best place you probably want to just run. Either running or fighting, because you can see through every window and every door in here, so there's not really a place for you to hide. If you can't run, and then your next choice is to hide, then you hide. Your hiding place should be out of the active shooter's view. So like I said, in this classroom, there's really no place that would be out of view because of all the windows. But let's just say this is a solid wall, that's the only windows. You know, you stack up in the corner, stand as tight as you can at like a stick formation, and stay away from the windows. Provide protection if shots are fired in your direction. So all these desks and everything like that, you can flip them over on the side, you can stack them on top of each other because you want as much stuff in between you and the shooter as possible, because just in case they decide to shoot through the door, anything like that, you want something maybe to stop the bullet before it gets to you. Lock the door. Here we have these buttons. Anywhere else you might have a key fob, or you might have to lock the door manually. My suggestion is if you're in your own office and you have a door, leave the door open, have the door locked at all times. So then if anything ever happens, you just have to shut the door and it's locked. You don't have to worry about locking it after the fact. Barricade the door. So again, we have all these desks and tables in here. Stack them up against the doors. Make sure so if anybody can actually get the door open, they can't get in because there's desks and everything else in the way. Because we have to remember that their number one goal is to get as many people as possible. So if there's anything in their path that's resistance, they probably will just go on. If you are on lockdown, silence your cell phones. That's the number one thing. Everybody has their cell phones on ringer. You don't want to be in here, shooter be walking by the classroom, someone decides to call you because they got the notification that there's an active shooter, they want to see if you're okay. Your phone starts ringing, now they know somebody's inside the classroom. Turn off any source of noise. Shut off the lights, shut off the projector. If you're playing a video, or if you have a video playing or music playing, shut it all down. Hide behind large items. So if you have a large desk in your office that you can get underneath your large desk. Remain quiet. During this time, it's going to be very hard to remain quiet just because everybody's adrenaline's going, everybody's scared. It's natural to cry, make noises, anything like that. We try to push for everybody to be quiet as possible because that will probably save your life. Dial 911 if possible to alert police of the active shooter's location. So what I've been saying is, because everybody's like, well, you say don't make noise, so why am I going to call? You can hit the red button. If the shooter's right outside shooting, you hit the red button, you knock the phone off the hook, it still calls, but you can't hear anything. We can, but they can't. So if they're outside your building and you hit the red button, you knock your phone off the hook, someone's going to answer and they're going to hear the shots and they're going to say, hey, this call's from this office, the shooter's right outside that office, go to that office. If you can't speak, leave the line open and allow dispatch to listen. Fight. Take action against the active shooter as the last resort and only when your life is in immediate danger or imminent danger. Attempt to disrupt and or incapacitate the active shooter by. So basically, if you're going to fight, you got to do everything you can to stop that person from killing you. Acting as aggressively as possible against him. So don't hold back. This person's trying to kill you and your friends or your family members. You don't hold back. Throw as much as you can. Throw any items you have. So yeah, you have your water bottle. So you have people carrying water bottles, cell phones, anything like that. Anything with any weight to it, you can throw at them or use as a weapon. Yell at them. So basically when they come in and you start throwing everything and you start running towards them, yell at them to kind of throw off everything because they're used to everybody yelling and running away. They're not used to anybody yelling and running at them and throwing things. You have to commit to your actions. So if everybody in the room is going to fight, everybody in the room's got to fight. One person can't be sitting in the corner saying, I'm a pacifist, I don't fight. Ain't going to work today. You're going to have to fight. This is a video that they did at Auburn, where they basically did it to where everybody had to fight, and they recorded it. It's only like a 5-second skit of it.
And in extreme situations, countering a gunman. Students at Alabama's Auburn University also underwent the training.
So as you see, everybody participated. They threw books and everything they could at the subject. It doesn't matter where you hit them. If you happen to hit them in the head and you end up killing them, you just stop the shooter. Nobody's going to arrest you for it. You're not going to get in trouble for it. You just saved who knows how many lives. Okay, now we're going to go into safety, car safety. Do not leave things visible in your cars. Our students are bad at this. They leave their laptops in plain view. They leave their purses out on their seats, their wallets out. Don't leave that stuff out in plain view because for some dirtbag that's just walking by your car, they're gonna be like, hey, easy for the taking, they're gonna smash out your window and take your property. We don't want that to happen. So the best place to put things is if you have a closed off trunk, I know a lot of people drive SUVs, put it in your trunk or tuck it deep underneath your seat. Shopping trips, always be aware of your surroundings. If you're shopping at night, go with a friend or family member. We try to preach, never be by yourself. It's a main thing. You know, some people go to the mall, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna stop for one thing, I'll go by myself. Yes.
I never park next to a van, or if I see a van parked next to my car, I will go and call someone to come and, you know, because sometimes when you're opening your car, if there's someone in the van, they will just open, you know, slide the door and they just can pull you in, and, you know, that's the easiest way to.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Notice who parks next to you. I know a lot of times, like if I park out, you know, because I have a newer truck, I don't want to park next to people. I'm gonna get door dings and everything like that. So I tend to park out in the middle of nowhere. When people start to park next to me, kind of gets me a little off kilter, because why are you parking out in the middle of nowhere when
Yes.
right next to my car? So you're not trying to get away from cars, because you just park next to my car. So it kind of tilts me off. Have your keys ready to go. Females, I know you guys have an endless pick called a purse. You put your keys in there, you think it's at the top. You think it's at the top, next thing you know, it's under 50 things, and you have to dig through it. So if you know you're getting ready to leave, take your keys out, put them in your pocket, hold them in your hand, do what you have to do, but do not go to your car without your keys out in your hand. Even if you're here during the day, it doesn't really matter. We've had attacks happen during the day. It doesn't matter if it's day, night, morning, night, have your keys ready to go. Same thing goes for if you're at home. You know, people still might wait for somebody outside their house. Shopping with little ones. Okay, kids are very hard to keep track of. I have kids, but I was a horrible one. I used to run from my parents when I was about 2 years old. They used to bring me to the park. Next thing I know, I was 3 parks over. Always try to keep your kids as close as possible, because especially nowadays, a whole bunch of creeps out there take kids and stuff like that. So you always want to keep your kids kind of nearby and always have a wherewithal of where they're at. Package deliveries. With online shopping trend, where people are having packages stolen right off of their front porch. What I've seen a lot of people do is they get those doorbell cameras down. They create those doorbell cameras. So basically, anytime someone walks up to your door, it triggers you and says, hey, someone's at your door. So you can watch a video feed of who it is. So if it's the UPS guy dropping something off, and then you see the homeless guy who normally walks by your house about 4 times walk up and take your package, you know who took your package. But at the same time, I want to say it's also in safety, because if you're at home alone and like 12 o'clock at night, someone comes knocking on your door, you can pull it up and see who's there. All right, gift package disposal. Dispose of gift boxes discreetly. Yeah, don't. So a lot of people, what happens here is they grab their boxes and they throw them outside. They throw them outside. A lot of other people get freaked out about that, especially in the time that we're in. People might think it's, you know, a suspicious package, it falls off the back of a truck or anything like that. Some might think that it's an actual weapon. Might think that someone's leaving a box in the center of campus because it's a bomb and it's just gonna go off. Also, the seals on it, they have your address and information on it. What I normally do is I usually either cut that off or I black it out before I throw anything out. Because I don't want somebody to know like my address and where I live and everything that under the sun of that. Because they can just find out where, because if you live in an apartment complex, they can say, oh, this person keeps getting packages, I'm just gonna go up to their house and ransack their house. It says right here, TV boxes. When you get a TV box, I know when I got my brand new TV, the first thing I did, because I live in an apartment, I walked 4 dumpsters over and dropped it off so I didn't know where it was. Because the last thing I wanted is somebody kicking in my door to steal my TV and have my dog and my girlfriend be there. And yeah, that's not what I want. Answering the door. I don't answer the door past 9:30. If someone comes knocking on my door that didn't text me saying, hey, I'm on my way over, and if they don't have a key, why are you knocking on my door? So I don't answer the door. What you could do is when someone knocks on your door, yell as loud as you can, who is it? If they say, oh, it's Joe Schmo from down the street, say, yeah, come back later, or come back tomorrow. Because, you know, you don't have to answer the door for anybody. The only thing I'd say, if someone says, hey, it's the police department, if you have people, look at the police people, because you don't want to leave the cops sitting outside because they might kick in your door. Also as well, is if you see some shady character sitting outside your house and they won't leave, call the cops on them. They'll come out and they'll talk to the person, because people tend to case out places before they go and hit the place. They don't just walk up and hit the place. So they might see it and say, oh, they were gone on this night, you know, they go to the gym at this time at this night because that's when they're available. So that you might not go to the gym that night, next thing you know, they're trying to break into your house. Leave the lights on. Don't ever leave, if you're coming home late, or if anybody's coming home late, leave a couple lights on. I normally keep my kind of hall light on and then my bedroom light on. So then someone thinks that someone's there almost at all times. Questions? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
About the automatic lock door.
Yes.
So we just had our doors programmed to fob only. We can't lock them from the inside. Are we supposed to have one of those in our building?
No, you don't have to, but with fob doors, you can have it locked and have the door open. So if you
You know,
fob
like
it,
just in the case of, how you said you want to lock the doors, we would have to go outside to lock our doors with the fob. There's no way to lock them from the inside.
okay, so the only thing that I can suggest is if they've already remodeled and that stuff and they didn't put the buttons in there already, you can request for it, but it costs a lot of money. Or you can just do you normally keep your door open?
Well, yeah, during the office hours.
During office hours, keep your door open, but keep the fob panel, keep it red. So the door's locked, but it's open. So if you ever need to shut the door, you just shut the door and it's locked.
How would we do that?
You just hit it with the fob again. So you hit it with the fob to open it, it turns green, hit it with the fob again, it locks it.
But then how will students come
They
into
can't
our
get in there
building?
Because your door's open.
Or you can't leave it open.
Or you're talking about your main entrance to
Yeah,
your building?
you have
The
to
main
lock
entrance
that.
to the building, that's something you'd have to submit, yeah, you can't leave that one locked. I see what you mean there. What building?
4,700. We just turned, maybe, in a few months now.
They didn't
And
put those
I
buttons
didn't
in there
realize
anymore?
that, but you have to go outside to lock the door with the fob. And they took
Um,
the key.
That's something you'd probably want to, because can you lock it with the key from the inside?
No,
So
they
you
took
can't even
that
do
away.
that.
We used to.
Yeah.
So, see, that's why I don't like some of these options, they take it away.
Yeah,
You
they-
can't, so
they didn't
you can
download
fob,
it
but you
from
can't
the
use a
sound.
key. That's the one thing that frustrates me, is so when you can't use a key, how are you supposed to lock the door if you need to, if, say, the power goes out? You can't, because the power's out. So I'd say just submit something to get a key, lock put in on the inside, if they're not gonna put those in.
Okay.
So what do we do about, lighting around the campus? Like, I've called facilities because I think the lighting is terrible. Like, if you're here on a weekend or at night, or even for classes, when I was taking classes, we're so dimly lit here, it's ridiculous. And as a woman, and they go, well, you know, you can call the police department and somebody can walk you to your car. Really? I'm not gonna do that. Like, it's like, come on, we can't turn the lights
Yeah.
on?
So, what she's referring to, if anybody's ever stayed past 11 o'clock here, the lights go out. The parking lot lights go out, and basically it's just ambient light, or the lights that go along the main road around the campus, those stay on, and some of the center campus lights down. The center campus lights are the low sodium lights, which I hate, those orange lights that give no lighting whatsoever. So we've had multiple complaints about that. We submit request after request after request, and they say, well, it's just not energy efficient.
Neither is getting right either.
Exactly, that's our thing, but they still haven't changed it. Keep submitting complaints, keep going up the chain. If the person you're submitting the complaint with doesn't go through, submit it to someone even higher. If they get upset with you, oh well, you're not thinking of my safety, that's what you get. I'll submit complaints as well. If you are too afraid to submit a complaint that has to do with safety, just let me know and I'll submit the complaint for you. I know everybody doesn't like the lighting, we submit multiple complaints over it, and we just keep getting the same answers.
Yeah, that's what the answer was,
Unfortunately,
that it was not energy efficient, and I was like, really? So my safety means nothing.
Have they ever suggested doing like a motion detector light like they do at San Diego State or some of the other community colleges where you get within 10, 15 feet and it lights up
Are you
and
talking
it goes all the way through the campus?
yeah, you're talking about the lights that kind of stay on but very dim, and then once they pick up some type of motion, they go bright.
I've seen them both ways. I mean, I've seen them completely off and they come on when you get close, and I've seen them dim down and they get brighter when you get close.
They probably haven't, and if we bring it up to somebody, they're probably gonna always preach to us that money's tight. You know, it's the famous answer. Money's tight. we've come up with multiple options and we just keep getting the same thing because we have people who work here 24 hours a day, and basically as soon as it hits 11 o'clock and they start their shift, they come outside and it's completely dark.
Until a tragedy happens, and then that's when people react.
And it's before 11 o'clock, cause
Yeah.
when I'm here at night,
On the weekends, yeah, on the weekends it's not
weekends or
even.
even weekdays, like I come in the morning at 6:30 and it's pitch black,
Yeah.
there's not a light coming on.
I show up at 6:15, yeah, there's no lights on, because they shut it off they don't ever turn them back on. They shut them off at 11 and they don't turn them on until it comes on tonight.
Right.
So they went out at 11 o'clock yesterday and they won't come on until probably 6 o'clock tonight. That's the thing though too, is when they change for time changes, what they do is they don't care if the sun's completely up, the lights stay off, they turn the lights on. So clearly it's not an option of if the sun's up or if the sun's down, it's just they don't wanna spend the money. That's my opinion on it.
Just keep it playing.
On the weekends, they don't even, half the time they don't even turn them on. I've worked a weekend shift one time and I was working till 11 o'clock. As soon as the sun went down, I was in complete darkness. So I'll submit another complaint.
I mean, I know you guys are always really good, and I always do call when I'm leaving, and somebody does come, but it freaks me out. Like the one night we went out to get dinner, it was foggy, and we left, we could hardly see, and then all of a sudden somebody's lights came on, and it was security, but I didn't know it scared the crap right out of me. I thought, oh my God, somebody was watching us leaving the building, we couldn't even see them.
If you ever stay past probably around 10:30, usually you'll probably see one of us walking into your building just to check on you because we'd like to give like a tally mark of who's still on campus to the people who come on after us, because we have some staff members here that stay till about 1 o'clock in the morning. And so those are people we routinely check on because you never know what's gonna happen because they leave their doors open and things like that. But if anybody ever wants an escort to their cars, if you have a group of people and the group of people still wants an escort, feel free to call our front desk number and they'll send someone right away. You'll get one day and another one the next day. It doesn't really matter what time it is, someone will escort you to your car. If there's gonna be a wait, they'll say, okay, hang out, they're on another escort. It'll probably take about 5 to 10 minutes, then they'll be over after that. Our dispatch center is really good at giving you kind of like an ETA on an escort because they know it's kind of important if you want someone to walk you to your car. If you have any questions as well that you just can't think of right now, my email is right here. jsneary@maricosta.edu. If you just type in Sneary in the directory, make sure you choose the name of the J, not the C, because then the email will go to my mother. So she'll just forward the email to me if that does happen. But if you want to email me, feel free. Or if you want to just stop by the police station, feel free. We're all more than willing to answer any type of questions. All right, have a good day. Oh, and tomorrow, if anybody wants to attend, the RAD presentation is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Make sure if you haven't heard already, fill out the survey on the classified, on the STEM portal, the governance, classified center, professional development, and workshop. Oh, no, it has, I think it's just for, my kid. Yep. It was cool. We'll ever get. Oh, yeah. One, two. Are you not gonna reschedule your talk? Oh, yeah, we'll do it. That was great.
I haven't seen that.
That's awesome.
So I haven't seen that.
Should I put on
On
the
all the
helmet?
campuses.
Let's do it.
Well, congrats.
Let's do it.
See ya.
Not touching the rifle.
I'm probably the only one. It's like, ooh, who's done? I'm like,
That's what I saw.
It fits on my head.
I think I'm the only person who actually likes them.
You want help?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you just slide it on and then pull the
There
rest
she
of it.
is.
So pull the rest of it.
I did today. From
Just
your-
totally like broke my nose.
From, yeah, I believe it's in here. It didn't do a ring from 7:45. Did you pay straight here this morning?
Yep.
Did you
I
drive?
know, I came, but it was too late, so I have to drive to
That's
the
what,
TCI.
That's what
It was
Lisa said.
super nice. Oh my gosh, they have such a good place. They're so many things that are gonna do.
I can't kind of like smirk when I do that. This is heavy.
It is, I had to put all that on over this.
Literally from quarter to 8. So this is what you wear in
No, that's a
quarter to
riot.
12.
That's a,
I was doing nothing but cleaning books.
that's a,
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's
that's a riot.
And then I like it stuffs things
Yeah,
from
you just throw them in the
have,
basket.
I'm gonna do the Excel sheets
so
from the
heavy.
things from yesterday.
Jeez Louise, I mean, it's gotta be bulletproof, but.
It is.
I left some books
Yeah.
in case we
No, I was
needed
just a
something
little
to do.
disturbed by that.
Oh my goodness.
It's just so sad that kids
Then maybe
have to, like,
tomorrow we can go
go
around
through
the
that.
classrooms
Yes,
and just
you
make
know,
sure
I think
they
it's
all
more
have
that
one.
than that actual like,
Erasers, functional markers.
the adrenaline of having to
Yeah.
run into it, it's just more the little kid's
What is
perspective
this?
of the fear.
Yeah.
What do I tell my kid? Like, cause she's gonna look to her teacher, right? Like, but what do I,
Our child development center has like a plan put up, so they normally have, like, especially now, they normally have it all planned out. And if something happens, they have it